Hello and welcome to Public Report. I'm Jackie Kahlhamer, your host. Today we will be speaking with Carl Schwartz. He is the coordinator for Bird City, Wisconsin. Our issue for this segment is environment and our topic is protecting birds. Carl, thank you very much for being our guest today.
Well, thank you for having me here.
Would you like to tell our viewers about yourself?
Well, I took a job as coordinator for a new program in the state called Bird City, Wisconsin. Last August, about the same time that I retired from the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, where I'd been the senior editor for national and international news. But I've been a conservationist at heart for a long time and involved in a lot of bird projects with the Wisconsin Society for Ornithology and Milwaukee Audubon and other groups. And this opportunity to spearhead a new project was just a great opportunity for me.
Oh, and can you just give us an understanding and overview of Bird City, Wisconsin and its purpose?
Yes, indeed. Bird City, Wisconsin is patterned after a program that I think many people are familiar with. Tree City USA by the Arbor Day Foundation has been around for more than 3 decades. And Bird City, Wisconsin is going to attempt to do for birds what Tree City has done for urban forestry. Make it a priority for communities, give it new attention, and to spearhead a number of conservation programs to ensure that the birds we enjoy today in our towns and cities and villages are around for our lifetime and our children's lifetimes.
Now, how are birds indicators of the health of our environment?
Well, I think a lot of people are familiar with the term, the canary in the coal mine. Canaries used to be used by miners to indicate they were more sensitive to bad conditions, methane or something like that. And in general, birds are very good indicators of the health of the communities that they live in. When communities have ample, birds are a lot like people. They need the same things we do. They need space, they need a place to live, they need food, they need water, and they need the absence of pesticides and poisons. And so when people can provide a community like that for birds, everybody thrives, and that's what Bird City is trying to communicate to people and establish a program that will encourage communities to seek the recognition of being a bird city.
Do they also have an economic and a quality of life impact?
Well, I think so. I think anybody who has enjoyed the dawn chorus these days, we're right in the middle of the migration season. Spring migration is, I think, my favorite time of the year. Everybody says they wish there were 60 days in May and not just 30 because you're seeing everything green up again. You're seeing flowers bloom, trees bloom, and all of these gorgeous songbirds coming back from the tropics. It's just a wonderful time to be alive, and I think that's International Migratory Bird Day was celebrated very widely last Saturday. I was up at a wonderful celebration at the Forest Beach Migratory Preserve, and it's just a chance to be out in nature. And and at the same time, these birds provide such a service to us too, because in addition to being, creatures of beauty, they eat insects. They control all sorts of pests. They say if it weren't for the winter birds, the little chickadees and woodpeckers we see, gleaning insects off the trees all winter long, we'd just be awash in bugs during the rest of the year. So keeping our communities healthy for birds is a priority.
Okay. Now, the urban bird population, how is that doing?
Well, it depends on the species that you're talking about. I have a good friend, a biologist, Noel Cutright, who uses the rule of thirds. At any time, a third of our birds are declining, a third of our species are doing okay, and a third are actually prospering and growing. We're trying to see that a program that encourages keeping common birds common and helping the birds that are in decline stabilize and maybe regrow their populations. And we're gonna try and encourage special programs for birds like chimney swifts, purple martins, and the common nighthawk. Those are 3 target species that we are going to, those are urban birds. Those are birds that people, chimney swifts are those little, people call them flying cigars. They see them going through the sky, very rapid wing beats and a little chittering sound. They nest in chimneys, and a lot fewer buildings have chimneys than they used to, and so that's a problem. Common nighthawks nest on roofs and gravel. Well, a lot of roofs anymore on buildings have rubber membranes instead of gravel, so there's less places for them to nest. So we're going to encourage people to be very thoughtful about doing things that might encourage those birds to prosper.
What negatively affects birds' environments?
Well, I think, as I said, the birds are like people. The same things that negatively affect us have an impact on birds. If you don't have a good place to raise a family, you go someplace else, or you aren't able to live someplace. So we need we need more natural habitat. We need people to plant native species. We need people to worry about invasives. We need people to worry about making sure that there's bird baths and water supplies for birds. We need to make sure that the water we have in our community is clean. We need parks. We need recreation spaces. We need people to help feed birds. We need to reduce the amount of pesticides. Pesticides that wipe out insect populations and foul waters are a bad thing for birds. And then there are all these man-made hazards for birds that we can have an impact on and controlling. And some of those are the things that we will establish as criteria for communities to try and meet to become a bird city. And if I can just mention a couple of those right now, we're particularly concerned about window strikes. Lots of birds can't tell the difference. They see a window and they look past the window. They look through the window and think that they can get to the next place, particularly when they can see through 2 windows and see sky beyond. So we're encouraging places like the Wisconsin Humane Society are offering free window decals that are almost invisible to the human eye, but birds can see, to break up those patterns. We're going to encourage that. We're going to encourage proper sighting of towers so that so that birds don't collide with them. We're going to encourage programs to keep the lights out on tall buildings during peak migration periods. We're also going to be very supportive of a program called Keep Cats Indoors. Cats are wonderful pets, but they're much healthier. They live 3 times as long if they spend their lives indoors with us, rather than outdoors where they're susceptible to disease, to being eaten by coyotes, to being run over by cars. And in turn, if they're indoors, they're not out there chasing birds. Cats are great, but they're wonderful hunters. They make great predators, and they really take a fearsome toll on wild bird populations.